Hello everyone, it's Jessica. Welcome back if you've been here before, and hello if you are new. Today's bookish video is a cozy one because last week I set myself the challenge of reading all 3 books in Travis Baldree's Legends Lattes series. This was quite a big challenge for me because I have not been reading very consistently over the past few months, and what I have been reading is very different genres, very different books one after the other, and to be completely honest with you, I am the absolute worst at finishing a series, especially, for some reason, a fantasy series, even though I love them. I'm an all or nothing kind of reader, so this week I decided that I would be an all kind of reader and make myself complete this entire series. I didn't plan a time frame for these, but it just so happened that each book took me 2 days to read because I would read half in one day and half the next. I'm very happy to tell you that this series completely reignited something in me, both as someone who loves reading and someone that loves fantasy and magic. The idea behind these books is that they are cozy fantasies, they are low stakes so you never have to get stressed reading them, and they introduce you to lovely characters as they go about their days and do magical fantasy things. I chose this series specifically because it is now autumn and I wanted something that was cozy for the darker nights, and I also have been kind of stressed lately, so I wanted something that wasn't going to add to that and was just a nice escape, so I thought fantasy, and specifically cozy fantasy, would be great for that. Okay, we're starting off with the first book in the series, Legends Lattes. This book is about a barbarian orc, Viv, who hangs up her battle sword in order to open a coffee shop with the hopes of collecting like-minded, like-hearted friends along the way. And that's kind of it. The joy of this book is that it is just the seemingly mundane hiccups of running a business like a coffee shop, but explored in this fantasy setting in a way that makes you hungry for adventure, but also coffee and pastries. It's a simple story arc, but there is a little bit of romance and a couple of bad guys, and it just reminded me that I can enjoy a book just for the sake of reading, because sometimes with all the reviewing and the content creation, I can forget that. But this was just a nice story to read. All of the characters are so memorable, but I think my 2 favourites are Cal, who is a very sweet but kind of grumpy old man who is also a handyman and helps out with creating the coffee shop and then becomes friends with everyone, and also Thimble. Thimble is a half rat, half man, and I would die for him. He is the sweetest little baker rat man in the whole world. Thimble makes these amazing pastries and biscuits and things for the menu, and I love the fact that every few chapters they do a little updated menu so you can see what items are for sale for customers, and it's all pretty and it makes you really quite hungry. This writing is really witty and easy to follow, but it does also have brilliant descriptions. It's really immersive, and things like Thimblets, which are the little biscuits they dunk in their coffee. I realise these are basically just biscotti, but in this they sound incredible. They sound so much better. This book actually inspired another one of my cozy hobbies to reappear, and that is baking. I baked 2 batches of cookies in the last week, and I would sit and I would dunk them in my hot chocolate or in my coffee to imagine that I was also in Legends Lattes. I have read some incredible books this year, and I would still say that this is one of my favourites. It's one of the ones that I enjoyed reading the most. The other thing about this is it's hard to say, oh, it's like this book or this book, because I think it's really unique. It's not like anything else that I personally have read before. Okay, now we come on to book 2, which is Bookshops and Bone Dust. Whilst this is the second book that Travis Baldree released, it's actually a prequel set 20 years before the events of Legends Lattes. Our main character is still Viv, but this is during her battle days where she would scour the lands and defeat enemies. But in this one, she has been injured and she would be a liability to take with the rest of the troops, so they drop her off in a seaside town so that she can recover, which she is not thrilled about. In fact, she's incredibly bored, so she bides her time by befriending the locals and helping to renew interest in the local bookshop, Thistlebear. I will say that this book has slightly more action than the last one, but it very much does not take away from the easy reading experience. The owner of the bookshop is Fern, who is another Ratkin character, but unlike Thimble, she is not meek and mild, she is foul-mouthed and kind of at the end of her tether. But I really liked watching her fall back in love with reading books despite the troubles in the bookshop by watching Viv fall in love with reading. Both of the first two books also have a sapphic love story between Viv and one of the other characters. I do think that this romance was a little less compelling, but part of me wonders if that's just because I like who Viv is with in book one, so I don't want to imagine her with someone else in this one. It's incredible to me that putting on a book sale, going to a bakery, having an author sign books in their shop can be so riveting, just like when I'm reading a different book and it's an incredibly intricate heist. I enjoyed this just as much. I know a lot of people actually say they preferred book 2, but I do think Legends and Lattes just beats this book for me. And that brings us on to book 3, which is Brigands and Bread Knives. This book is actually not quite out yet. It comes out in November of this year, so you will have to wait a little longer to read this one. This book is set after Legends and Lattes, but instead of Viv as the main character, it actually follows Fern, so it kind of brings the two previous books together. Fern has lived a long life as a bookseller, but she needs a change of scenery, so she decides to move to the city of Thune and put down some roots by moving her bookshop next door to a long absent friend's coffee shop. However, she feels like something is wrong and she doubts herself, and she has a night of getting drunk and she wakes up in the cart of a legendary warrior absolutely miles away from the city. She means to return home, but she kind of ends up on their crazy bounty hunter road trip. Also on the cart is Zill, who is a chaos goblin with a fondness for silverware, and she causes all kinds of havoc along the journey. I have mixed feelings about this. I really did enjoy it, but it was a slower pace to the other two books, and I felt like it was missing something, maybe a little charm that the other two books had that this didn't quite do justice. I do wonder if it's partly the fact that I am 3 books in at this point and maybe I was getting a little fatigued of the low stakes. But saying that, this book actually had quite a few action fight scenes and a few more villains, and it was very much on the move with a changing story, so I don't know why it just felt slower paced to me. I do think that might be because this book was a little more going for the midlife crisis theme rather than low stakes easy reading. The road trip format and the fact that one of the characters was a chaos goblin with a love of silverware meant that it was a little less cozy to read. However, I did absolutely love the character of Zill, who is the Chaos Goblin. She added some real wit and humour, and also Bucket the horse. I think something that Travis Baldree does really well is write these side animal characters. In book 1, it is a dire cat that protects the coffee shop. Book 2, it is Pot Roast, the half owl, half griffin, I think, that protects the bookshop, and in this one it is Bucket the horse. I've read some other reviews that say they didn't find the ending to this one as satisfying as the other two, but I actually quite liked it, and I definitely liked the epilogue as well. So those are my reviews of all 3 books. I had a lovely week reading them. I will say the order I enjoyed them in goes 1, 2, 3, but I did enjoy all 3 books. So it was a really lovely reading week for me. These are all stories of magic and also of perseverance, which I think is really important, but I think my favourite theme in all 3 has been friendship. And I find that with all kinds of books. I don't think a book needs a romance storyline, but I think it needs strong relationships in some form, and I think these books all definitely do that. I think it's nice how easily you can immerse yourself in these stories in real life as well. Like I said, I found myself eating a lot of warm pastries and drinking a lot of hot drinks. If you like a little bit of reading atmosphere and you go onto YouTube, you can search for Legends and Lattes themed ambience, which is really nice to enjoy while you're reading the series. And the other day, me and my dad went to a pub and we had lunch next to an old copper fireplace, and there were dogs all at our feet and everyone was enjoying it with their friends, and it just made me think of these books so much, and it reminded me how nice being cozy is. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're also feeling super cozy and relaxed now. It would mean the world to me if you could leave me a comment, and if you don't know what to comment, maybe you could comment your favourite hot drink to enjoy on an autumn day. If you're not already subscribed to me, it would mean the absolute world, and it would mean you could see more cozy videos, more bookish videos, more hobbies and different things like that. My next video is actually a cozy video to help you fall asleep, but it's book themed. So watch out for that one because I think lots of people will enjoy it. I hope everyone has a super cozy week and I will see you all very soon. Would you like to read this one next? Maybe?